Just as with the grocery industry, the restaurant sector is facing pressure. Well, let's dig into this. And how can the restaurants fight back? We're joined by Tony Chapman, CEO of Tony Chapman Reactions. You just spent the past 3 days submersed in the world of restaurant.
I was hosting their thought leadership conference, and I'll tell you, this is an industry that's of vital importance, not just economically. I mean, $80 billion, 1.2 million employees, a lot of them under the age of 25, that entry-level job.
Yeah.
But from a psychological point of view, it's a place that's Canada's favorite place to escape their screens and and find an oasis, a meeting place to hang out. So it matters a lot.
That's it. So it's a big sector. Tell us some of the challenges they face right now.
Relentless and pounding headwinds. I mean, rising costs in their supply chain in terms of food, unpredictable because of weather, dealing with the labor, sledgehammer in Ontario and Alberta with minimum wage just hit them hard. I mean, thin margin business.
It's a big jump, yeah.
Big jump. Then you have grocery stores tired of losing all that business. They're fighting back with home meal replacements, their own restaurants, meal kits delivered. You've got Amazon and Whole Foods suddenly emerging. What's that going to happen with that? So there's a lot of things going at their business of doing business.
And you and I were talking, the fact we don't leave our darn houses these days.
Well, the screens are addictive. You're at home and you're engaged, right? So there's a lot of things that restaurants can do. Obvious ones is, funny, the mining conference is coming up, but first thing I would say is mining for margins. For the first time ever, every dollar. Bringing in robotics, both at the back of the house and the front of the house, looking at their food, the kind of food they source, how they put it on the menu, how creative they are, and then obviously mining for talent. It's so hard to get people. This is a hospitality that shining eyes and experience because I like being on my screen, but now I have to be in front of people and I have to act on the stage. But the final thing, and I'll tell you that I really came to terms with is, like any other business, it's the why.
It's the why.
The why. It's not what you do and how you do it. It's why you matter. And I think that the restaurants that get the fact that time-starved people, convenience, meals on the go, or needing that oasis at a meeting place, or to fall in love, or to be with friends, they go beyond just the fact of serving adventurous palate, that they're finding ways to introduce new cultures through their food. I think the people that go beyond profit to purpose are the ones that will make things happen and continue to succeed. The ones that are simply just a transaction of serving food, I think with all these headwinds, they're really in danger.
So you just enlarge on that. You think a restaurant needs to offer not just food, but a place to hang out with your friends, for example?
If you're in the full service, it's your experience that matters most. If you're convenience, it's about speed. You know, if it's about taste, it's about health. These are the, it's personalizing. It's what matters to me matters much more than just your bottom line. If you focus on who my audience is, what matters most, what makes them think about me and feel about me and want me, and that goes much beyond just the immediate gratification of the taste of the food and has everything to do about I had a great meal. We had such a great time. That was an extraordinary experience. I can't wait to go back. I can't wait to post that picture of that food on my Instagram. Now it's not just what I eat, but how it looks. All of this stuff matters. Find out who you are, who your audience is, connect the dots, and I think that, people always want to go out for a great meal.
Now, if you drive the suburbs of Canada, as you know, the streets, the boulevards are lined with chain restaurants. Is that getting a bit dreary? Are people reacting against that, this cookie-cutter, same restaurant chain in every city?
Well, globally, you're seeing such consolidation with the chains. I mean, the big ones are getting bigger. It is difficult because today, especially the millennial who you need, they're looking much more for what my restaurant. They're looking for artisan, independent. They're looking for locally sourced, locally owned. They want to have a connection, a relationship. They want to know you're protecting local farmers. So the chains have to got much more and less this cookie cutter, one size fits all, big loyalty cards, big greeting cards, big gift cards, and be much more saying, how do I fit into that local neighborhood? So I combine the best of a chain, which is operational efficiency, but with that local sense and the local notes that has people say, that's still my restaurant.
I suppose the chain, some people want predictability. They want to know, well, I'm going to Swiss Chalet. My friend says it's room service. It's so ubiquitous. I know where I stand with it. So there'll always be a market for that, I suppose.
Well, McDonald's built their business on quality, value, cleanliness, and service. And they're getting back to the roots, and you can see that with their share prices. Yeah. Domino's has become a digital company. So everybody has to find their own song to play to stand out. Listen, there's too much and too many chasing a finite amount of time and money. If you're not standing out and being unique, stand aside because someone's going to do a better job.
I know that we've seen reports that the U.S. restaurant sector got overbuilt. Wall Street put too much money into chains, and there's too many outlets out there chasing too few customers.
There is, and that saturation also is existing certainly in Canada where there's concentration. And again, you can't survive with thin margin. Every time you lose one customer, think of how many new customers to replace that. So it's becoming, loyalty is paramount. What you offer, people in their menus are trying to compress their menus, but people come and go, what happened to that meatloaf? I love that meatloaf, right? So it is the toughest, most challenging business.
Murder, yeah.
You have to play an entire orchestra and play it so well, mining for margin, mining for opportunity, mining for talent, but above all, remembering it's the why, not the what.
It's a murderous bit. Back in Ireland, a good friend of mine ran a top restaurant. We go out partying, but then he'd have to be up at 4 or 5 to get down to the fruit and vegetable and meat market to get the good stuff.
To get the good stuff. And he goes home. I mean, there's 16, 18 hours. These are soldiers that are out there every day. And you know what? You want them to smile at you. You want them to remember your name. You want them to greet you, take care of you, bring you that little appetizer, top up your wine glass on the house. All the things that hospitality and restaurants, they come from hospital and restoration. That's the derivatives of the word. And this is a place for healing and coming together. That's what we need to focus on, and it's tough with those headwinds.
Tony, thanks very much.
Thanks for having me.
Tony Chapman is CEO of Tony Chapman Reactions.